I'm not click on here. All right. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, just type a yes. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, type a yes. Yes. Hear me? If you can hear me, just type a yes. All right. Good. Thanks. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, type a yes. All right. Good. Thanks. Okay, great. Okay, great. Looks like there's some there will be some delay from my Zoom. I'm actually talking through Zoom and via live stream to YouTube, right? So there'll be a delay between 10 to 15 seconds. Okay. Via live stream to YouTube, right? So there'll be a delay between 10 to 15 seconds. Okay. Okay, so I'm still getting used to it. All right, so welcome everyone to our live stream. And this was actually decided just this afternoon, right? I actually did not expect the results to be out so soon. Yeah, because way back in year 2024. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I think I see I hear an echo of myself. Just a minute. Okay, apologize for that. Are you hearing any echo? Okay, so now I cannot hear back myself. It seems to be better now. Oh, okay. So now I know where the problem is. Yeah, I'm feeding back my YouTube live. Okay, I fixed the problem because I have my own Zoom and I have the YouTube live together. That's where the echo is. Yeah, okay. Okay. All right. So let's get started. So I fixed the echoing problem already. So how many of you are excited with the results? Right? Are you just type on the chat? Do you feel happy with the result or you feel sad? Yeah, type on the chat. You know that Trump has won. Not sure how many of you know that Trump has won. Yeah, type on the chat. Are you happy or are you sad about the results? Okay. Okay. All right. So thank you for joining these sessions. We just decided this afternoon because the result came up very fast. Initially, I wanted to have a session on this Friday, right? It was planned on this Friday, 8 p.m. Because in the last election in 2020, the results only came out after 4 days. Of course, that was also during the pandemic time where there's a lot of mail-in votes. And it was a pretty close fight at that time as well. But this time, surprisingly, it was a very fast result due to quite a clean sweep from Donald Trump. Okay. Yeah, so some of you are happy, neutral, no. Okay. Yeah. All right, so let's look at the results right now. And I will also debrief. The objective of this session is to give our students as well as the public, right? So if you have any friends that you think that will benefit, right, feel free to share the link with them. This is not only for Beyond Insight students, this is also for the public, right, for all our audience from the subscriber from the YouTube live as well. So the objective is I will update you on the outcome and some of the key important factors about this election and how it will influence not just the US market, but globally. It has a very significant implication to the global economy as well. Okay, and more importantly, I guess a lot of you wanted to know what could be the impact to the stock market, right? Yeah, so not just for the US, China stocks, and what about Malaysia? Okay, so this session will be for 1 hour. On Friday, we will have another session Yeah, because right now the market hasn't opened. Tonight the market opened at 10:30 p.m. right? For the US market. So I will debrief based on what I anticipate is likely going to happen, which we can already see some of the movement in the pre-market. Okay. Then on Friday, we will see another 2 days of reaction. Plus, why I still want to continue the Friday session is because there will be a FOMC meeting update in the morning, right? So Malaysia time 3 a.m., which is US 2 p.m., right? So Malaysia time 3 a.m. on Friday, there'll be a FOMC outcome on whether they will cut interest rate and how much they will cut. There's an anticipated cut on 0.25%. So based on this election outcome, right, we are not sure whether the cut will still persist, although very high chance, I would say 90% they will still proceed with a 0.25% cut. But more importantly, their forward-looking statement can move the market again, right? That's why I want to do another session on Friday. Okay, so do block your calendar for that. All right, so let's start with this, right? Do share with your friends if you think they will benefit from this session straight away. Okay, let's look at the election results here. You can see that Donald Trump has already won the majority, right? Any of the party need 270 votes to win. And he also won the popular vote, right? What is popular vote? That means throughout all the, based on the total result, he has won 51% of the vote, right? And on top of that, in the US, even though you have the popular vote, you may not win the election because the way US election work is, right, based on this state, right? So if you win the majority of this area, you take the entire state. Okay, so it's very different from just taking a popular vote, right? Same for Malaysia, right? You have the respective states election as well. Okay, so this is what's the difference. And as of this afternoon, he's already very close to winning. That's the reason why around 2 something in the afternoon, right, we know that he's going to win it, like just a 3 vote difference. But more significantly, I would like to share with you some details here, right, which is on the swing state, right? So in the US, there's already a demographics where you can see here, these are more like the states where very high chance Democrats will win, and on the right, very high chance Republican will win, right? Based on this geography over here. But there are what we call swing state, right? Swing state are the one that is not decided. It can swing either way. And this time, Donald Trump have a clean sweep. You can see here, even though the votes are still being counted, right? So the not all the votes have completely been counted yet, but we already know Donald Trump has won. The red color, these are all the swing states which can go either side in the past. But if you look at the results here, for all the swing states, 4 already confirmed going for Trump, right? You can see the 97.3%, 99%. That means majority of the votes has already been reported. Okay, and the leftover Arizona is also very close to leaning towards Trump, right? Even before the results today, right? So we know Arizona more likely is going to be Trump even before the election. And so even though it's only 60% counted, we consider this a Trump win already, right? Michigan, okay, this one is originally is a bit shaky area, but 50.01, right? So when you have result like this, it could be contested, okay? So either way, we want to ask for a recount, then it may take some time again. Nevada, so if you look at the difference is quite big, so very likely it's still going to be Trump, right? So he almost take all. Typically, they may not take all, right? So this means there's a big shift in sentiment in the US. Either they like Trump or they really don't like what Democrats has done so far, right? For the past 2 election, yeah, which is since Biden's time, or they don't have confidence on Kamala leadership. Okay, so this is the last chance for Trump, right? He says that if he loses this time, he will not he probably don't have the energy to campaign again. But he says this is the last time, and sure enough, he won. Right. So this is actually very significant, and it's very hard for even this afternoon. It's very, very hard for Kamala to take over. Okay, and the next 2 things that we need to take note of is this U.S. Senate result. Right. So even though Donald Trump has his policy, right? And also Kamala has his policy. It doesn't mean that they can get everything implemented. So it still have to go through the Senate and it still have to go through the Congress. But this time you can see here, the Republican has already won the Senate. Like the Senate, the majority was with Democrat last time. Okay, and also it used to be 50-50 and the president at that time, which is Biden, can do a veto, right? Even during Obama time. But now it is a significant majority, 52. So what does it mean? That means most likely a lot of Donald Trump policy can pass through, right? This is on Senate. There's another level that need to go through, which is the House, right? U.S. House of Representatives. Okay, so you can see here, Republicans are also taking the majority right now, right? Although they haven't passed the 218, right? It's very, very high chance that they will be able to pass the majority. So what does it mean to all the policy then? Do you think it's going to be easy for Donald Trump to get his policy implemented? Yes or no, right? Type on the chat. So this is more like a clean sweep. It's not easy to get because a lot of times American may not vote the same party for the Congress, right, versus the president because they want to have a check and balance. But this time, surprisingly, both the Senate and the House, right, majority is actually Republican. That makes it much more easier. Although some of the Republican could be bipartisan, right, they will still be looking at whatever policy, they may still not agree with some of the policy that Donald Trump proposed, right? However, if they have a bigger win here, then high chance Trump can still pass it through if he can get most of these people agree to that, right? So I hope all of you understand what I mean here. If you have any questions, right, you can post on it. Our team will be monitoring that and bring it up to me. So this is actually quite surprisingly to me as well, mainly because even though like if you have an internal betting among a team of analysts, right? As of earlier, I was expecting more Kamala, but as yet closer, looking at the swing state situation, as of yesterday, I will taking the positions of Trump win, right? With our team, right? We have a bet for lunch, okay? So, however, I didn't expect him to win so much. Yeah, I didn't expect him to win so much, and also the results to be out so early. Okay? So this is also a reminder that anything can happen, right? Just like anything can happen in the market, and we always have to prepare for it. However, one thing for sure that I know is no matter who wins, the market will still go up after that. The overall SPY and QQQ. This has been the case for many elections, unless it is a recession year. The reason is before the election, there are a lot more uncertainty, right? So once you know who is the president, then the certainty kicks back in, with the exception of a few industry. All right. So what do you think is the industry that are in favor if Trump wins? And I'll show you the chart in a short while. Like I have already covered this in my election video earlier. Okay, anyone still remember? Okay. So let me show you the chart here. Let's look at the post reaction. On the left-hand side, we have some students and some non-students here, suppose. On the left-hand side is the daily chart of the S&P 500. Okay, this is the ETF. I plot the SPY, which is the ETF for S&P 500. On the right-hand side is the intraday chart. This is a 3-minute chart. So where you can see the post-market, like this, for those of you who are new, who has not taken the intraday class from us, right, you can see here, there's the post-market. This is yesterday market close, right? After market close, it actually moved up already. And this is before market open today, right? Can see here, there's a 5 p.m. The market has already moved. And as of now, it has gap up, right? From yesterday market close to today, it has gap up. So this is close to 590. So if I were to look at the chart here, this is where the market is going to open today, 590 gap up. Yeah. So which means the market also take it positively, right? Because now at least it has settled the uncertainty. Let's look at QQQ, which represent high growth stocks and tech stock. Right, it has also gap up to 500 level, which is an important resistance. I hide some of my lines here so that it's not so congested. Right, so there's a 500 level psychological round number resistance, right? So we shared with our students, and there's an all-time high 503. Okay, so this is hitting above that, come down and resting here. So I want to clarify, we are not investment advisor. This is not an investment advice. I'm just sharing my views of the market, right? You need to make sure that you know how to invest and trade before you take any decisions over here. Okay, this is not an advice to buy or sell, right? So I'm giving my viewpoint here, and you should not chase the market just based on this, yeah? Because as you can see, like post-market, people can still take profit. Like then when it comes back down, they can still re-enter again, right? So you shouldn't buy right on market open. Even though, and there's still some time to market open, the market would have changed. But we can see that 500 is actually an important resistance right now for the QQQ. So what is a clear winner? What do you think is a very clear industry that will benefit for Trump win? Yeah, anyone knows? Okay, so I have some of you mention that. Yes, finance represented by the XLF ETF. You can see there's a big gap up here, right? From around $46.50 to $49. Would that be more upside? Based on the past, right? One way you can take a look at it is compared to the past election when Trump wins. Okay. There's actually usually more upside to it. But I like to contrast today versus the 2016 election when Trump wins. Right? There's some differences from then and now. So why do you think finance is bullish? Yeah, finance is one of the clearest winner. Yeah, whereas for if Kamala win, will be home builders. Yeah, because he's advocating creating more homes, right? Yeah, but when Kamala win, it may not be so bullish for the market because you want to increase tax. Okay, whereas Trump want to cut tax. So one of the major reasons why overall SPY and QQQ also go up is because of tax cut. Yeah, tax cut directly benefit the stock market because when you cut tax, you improve your earnings per share. Very immediate impact to profitability of the company, right? So tax cut, and since Trump win, immediate impact to overall stock market, EPS can grow up. And also the other part is finance sector because Donald Trump said he want to deregulate the finance sector. And in general, he likes deregulation, right? Whereas Democrat want regulation. Okay. Even though I do think that finance sector will still go up, even though Democrat win, it just don't go up as much, right? When Trump win, it goes up a lot. And let's look at who is the one of the key supporter for Donald Trump so far. Right, one company will definitely go up because he's a strong supporter of Trump. Start with a T, SLA, Tesla. Okay, look at the post-market reaction. It went up to 250 here. Right, these are some of the intraday lines. 250. Let me reset this. Oh, no, sorry. I didn't go to the latest. 250 is here. And now it's already 280, right? It's past all-time high. So now it is here. It's not exactly the whole all-time high. If you compare to even 2020, there's more upside. Okay. But it has gone to above 280 now, right? Please consider pretty high. It's more than this year high. Right, very bullish and seems to settle down on some support. Actually, before that, I was monitoring Tesla. Tesla has been, if let me move away some of these lines here. Right, Tesla was already performing well after the earnings. Right, they have a surprise surprise forecast. Okay, so although their revenue is lower, so this has actually caused Tesla to gap up already. Okay, but it pulls back because people are worried whether Kamala win or Trump win. And now with that uncertainty over, it creates more cases. I mean, a better case for Tesla to continue. But bear in mind, Tesla has strong competition on EV. Okay, so what is good about Tesla for the future is more on the robotaxi. It has still got good potential where the competition is not as stiff compared to the general EV car. Like, so you need to watch out. I will not want to keep it overnight given that it has already rallied so much. But for those of you who have studied intraday, right, with first the dynamic intraday trading, you can plan this for intraday trade. But do plan for both sides, although the probability of up is higher, but it has already gapped up so much. So you need to be cautious about this, right? Trades based on the price action. There's still another 2 hours to go, right? So we can see what is the price action to see whether it can still settle above the 280 level, or if it can, or it come back down to the 265 here. Right, this will be a better entry level if it ever drop this low. Okay. Yeah. Otherwise, this will be a more shaky level given such a big gap up. Sometimes people take profit. So one of the lessons that I've learned over the 31 years of trading is never be too fixated on any one direction, especially after a major event gap up like earnings or this. There will be a mix of opinion from people who have, let's say, entered the stocks earlier. They may want to take profit. Okay, they have enough gains, right? So don't get in straight away. Okay. So this is on Tesla, but let me show you something. The overall comparison between Harris and Trump, right? Then we can walk through what are the industry that will benefit, right? So over here you can see in terms of the tax policy, right? Tax has the biggest significant impact. Right. So for Harris, you want to have a tax cut for children, low to middle class income, whereas for Trump is to extend his tax cut that was implemented way back in 2017. And this 2017 tax cut, because I've traded over that period, is actually super bullish for the market, right? 2017 is a great year for myself and the overall market. However, it's a bit different right now. Okay, he did a few things during the 2017, right? He not only decreased the corporate tax, straight away, improve earnings per share, and therefore it makes each share more valuable. It creates more upside for the stock, even if the PE seems to be high, right? One of the important things about how do we read this is sometimes you see that the PE for a stock is high, but why does the stock can still go up? It's because when you have a tax cut, the actual impact comes in 1 year later, right? When you conclude the whole year accounts and the tax rate lower, then you see the real benefit from that. But market react 6 to 9 months ahead of the actual, 6 to 9 months ahead of economy. Okay. And also people already know it's definite that the EPS will go up due to the tax. Okay, at least from the tax impact perspective. So people know that this company will be valued more right now for each earnings per share based on the each EPS because of EPS can go up. Okay, so that's the reason why despite you need to look at the PE very differently during tax cut period. Yeah, so a lot of times people did not dare to buy in 2017 because many of the tech stock at that time was 40 over. The PE is over 40, which is in a normal standard is high. But I can still buy. Why? Because I understand that it will drop given the it's still worth it because the PE will drop due to earnings is increasing. Remember, PE equals to stock price divided by earnings per share. Right? If you know the earnings per share will go up, you know the valuation is worth it down the road. Okay. So I don't have a lot of time to decipher in detail. This one we cover in our company insights course. He also decreased the tax needed to repatriate money from overseas. This round he hasn't mentioned in detail about that, but he could do it another round, right? Because that is 2017 until now, already 7 years apart. If he do this, then it will also be bullish. I guess he may do this again, right? Even though he has not explicitly mentioned it here. You can see here, he says extension of the Donald Trump tax cut, which means whatever he implemented in 2017, right? The due date supposed to be next year. But if Kamala win, he said he want to stop it. Yeah, that means from the already reduced tax, he will increase it back. But since Trump comes back in, he will continue the tax cut level. Okay, so the impact to the market will not be as bullish compared to last time, because last time is when you cut, right, then you have the impact down. But this is just continue to from where it is right now, right? So that's it will still be bullish, but not, you cannot see it as the same as last time. Last time is from no cut to cut. Right, this time it's just continue the cut that's already having now. Okay, yeah, whatever the tax rate right now will continue to next year, but he wanted to decrease that further, right, to 15%. So you understand the difference from a high rate to already cut in 2017 that was supposed to be continuing next year. Now he want to cut further. Okay, this is the second part that make it bullish. Okay, but one of the challenge for the stock market is he plans to impose tariff on 10 to 20% of all import. Okay, at least 10% from other countries, and for China, it could be up to 60%. And that's the reason why, if you look at the KWEB, it gaps down. A KWEB represent China ETF. Right? So you can see this is the opposite of the QQQ. Right? So this is the level yesterday, 33.34. Now it gap down to 32, right? Which is around this level, like support level. This doesn't mean that you should short China stock right now. Okay, you can do it intraday for the meantime, but not holding it for long position, mainly because China right now is in the discussion of the tariff, right? And they may be implementing more than $1 trillion tariff in sorry, not tariff. They may be implementing more than $1 trillion in terms of the incentives in China, right? Stimulus package. This week, they'll be having multiple meetings on that, and the final conclusion may come in towards the end of this week, right? We will see. So that's why on Friday, depending on whether the outcome is there, we can debrief on that. Right? For the meantime, you can still trade intraday for China stocks, or if you know options, right, you can take a positions on which direction with a limited risk. And based on the election outcome right now, I'm sure China will need to put in more stimulus because the 60% tariff will be very bad for China. Right? So China need to do even more. I would say that if the stimulus is announced in China end of this week, likely there will be some reactions to the stock which goes up, but I think it's going to be short term. Right? Because Donald Trump is going to give China a hard time. Right? This is just my perspective, my opinion. Okay. But I always look at the market reaction and I can change my course of action based on, maybe my views is need to be adjusted by the time, right? But this is my take right now. Whatever that is happening right now in terms of US election is bad for China, right? Especially with the 60% tariff. So what does it mean to China manufacturers? They may have to absorb some of the costs, right? Because if the price of goods when they sell to China is 60% extra, right? They may not be able to sell that much, okay? Unless to the Americans, that's the cheapest product. They cannot find anywhere cheaper than China. They may still buy. Or the manufacturer in China may have to subsidize a bit. Or the US manufacturer side, right? The US company that import will have to absorb some of the margin, also bad from the US side, okay? But this may not affect all companies. Okay. So in general, it's still bad for China stock. But is it bad for all China stock? May not be. Some of the companies, if they're independent and fundamentally strong, they can still recover based on the China stimulus later. So it's best that you wait for the correction, right? For this week, corrected. Then when towards the weekend or next week, when the China stimulus is announced, right, you can trade the short-term spike from that if you know intraday. But I don't suggest that you keep China stock long term. Yeah. Okay. All right. So you can see here KWEB or Pinduoduo, another popular China stock, also gap down here, right? Sorry. Oh, question. Okay, I don't see. What are your views on the effect of proposed tariff on inflation? Okay, I will answer that question in a short while. Right. So you can see for China stock overall is not good, even though Pinduoduo is a good company. Right, is one of the leading in terms of e-commerce retail. And we also have Moomoo, okay, the parent company of Moomoo, which is Futu here, right? It also, in general, any China stock listed in US will be impacted, right? So 95, right? Fundamentally strong stock will still be affected. So this is what I've been advocating, right? The 40% of stock move is based on macro. Nothing to do with the company itself initially, right? 30% of market move is based on the industry. And only 30% is the specific stock. So no matter good or bad stock from China, right, will still be impacted because of this macro policy, right? So it's very important for you to understand the macro impact, right? And same for the Alibaba, okay? Yeah, also gap down big time, right? Okay, so this is the one of it. Let me debrief the second part. the question on what my views on the proposed tariff on the inflation in the US. So this is one of the concern for the Donald Trump tariff, right? The negative impact would be the cost of goods to American will be expensive, right? A lot of the economists in US mentioned that this is a lose-lose deal, right? They don't actually encourage Donald. They actually doesn't agree with Donald Trump with respect to this tariff. And because of this, the US dollar actually went up, right? We expected that when Donald Trump win, likely the dollar will go up and also back for the ringgit in this case. Look at how bullish the US dollar is, right? Dollar index, DXY, is an index that measures the US dollar against the basket of 6 currency like the euro, pound, and so on, right? So there's you can actually Google it. Yeah. So I need to cut short the time because I still have quite a few things to debrief. Yeah. So let's look at the gap up here for the US dollar. Okay. Yeah, which is very bullish. The why US dollar go up is mainly because they expect that the Fed may not cut interest rates so fast. Okay, as a result of the fear of inflation. Because if Donald Trump have the tax cut, then it will benefit the stock market, right? And in the US, more than half of Americans, right, are invested in the stock market, either directly or indirectly through their EPF, right, their 401k. So when the stock market go up, everyone become richer, okay? So they have more money, and that may that will give them more purchasing power, okay, to at least the middle income group and above. So the inflation may shoot up again. And if inflation shoot up, then the Fed have to be cautious on cutting interest rate. So this Friday and also December FOMC meeting is very critical. Yeah, especially we have to look at their minutes and the forward-looking statement, right? Not just what they do on this Friday itself. And so what's the implication? When US dollar go up, there'll be certain industry that benefits, certain industry will not benefit. But let's look at the international part first, right? So when US dollar go up, of course, is back for Malaysian ringgit, right? So you can see here, the USD went back up to 4.4, right? Initially, we expect it to range bound between around 4.1 to 4.5, okay? But now it's likely to go above 4.4 pretty fast, to 4.5 next week, at least. Okay, but this is not a advocate to trade currency. Okay, yeah, there are many more factors. It depends on this Friday FOMC meeting as well. So I hope I answered that question, right? What will be the impact on inflation? Inflation likely to go up, but it wasn't that bad. It's not like it will shoot up sky high, because I have looked at the past election when Donald Trump have the tax cut. It did go up, but it is moderate, right? Not that bad, but still something to be monitored. I think the inflation may not shoot up back that fast, right? When it doesn't mean that the stock market go up, then people will start to buy things, right? There's a gradual reaction. So the Fed will wait and see, will watch. So we have to monitor the inflation indicator carefully for the next couple of months, like a CPI, PPI, as well as the PCE. Okay. Yeah, let me see any other questions. Okay, so to the world is definitely bad for those countries that are being imposed tariff, right, including Europe. That means it will reduce the potential European import, right? To Americans companies, it will be better for them. Right now, they can compete better in pricing compared to before. However, you cannot shift a supply chain so fast, right? So when there's not enough American products for the same thing, then Americans have to pay more money, right? Because it's higher import price. Then to the rest of the world, they may sell less because of the increase in price. American may buy less, right? Because right now we are in a slow growth area in the US. Right? It's not a recession, but slow growth economy in the US, and there's a lot of people are still tightening budget because the interest rate is still high, right? It just dropped from the peak of 5.5 to 5, right? So it's still very high interest rate to most American, and they're tightening their spending. So this likely going to contract some spending further in the short term. Okay, but for the middle income group and above, it's actually a good news for those who invested in the stock market. with the Trump tax cut, it will help the stock market. Likely more companies will do stock buyback or give more dividends, right? Then for those group, they will have more spending power. Okay, but for the lower income group, it's actually bad news. All right, so I hope I explained that part. So this will also weaken the other currency, right? US dollar against the other currency, you will see the other currency will weaken. And it will also make American goods more expensive. Let's say now, if you want to buy an iPhone, you want to buy a laptop, it will be more expensive if it's a US brand. Okay, let me see what are the next question. With Trump, I noticed Meta's momentum is going down instead. Would that be a concern for traders? Okay, anyone knows why Meta is not in favor? Mark Zuckerberg. Okay, Trump doesn't like Mark Zuckerberg because he thinks that he's pro-Democrats. Okay, so that's one of the reasons of the reaction. Although in general, Meta is still a great stock, but it came down. There's a few effects here. You can see there's a big sell-off for the Meta stock post earnings, right? This was because of the heavy investment in the. Let me move this down here. Okay, so it's easier for you to see, right? This is a EMA 50, because they forecast more investment in AI server, right? That can impact some of their margin. Right? So it's not only a Trump impact. Okay, so the pullback, because is going through a stabilization. Post earning, we need to wait for at least 5 days to stabilize, right? So it's 2 days of sell off already, even before the Trump results, and then it rebounded, right? Then now come back to this level. The support has not broken yet, so it's not all bad, right? So we need to look at whether this support is strong. It's still a very strong fundamental stocks. Right, so we need to watch out for two things. I mean, unless Trump does something to Meta, right? So we have to watch out whether, he take a revenge on Meta. If he doesn't say anything about Meta can still rebound because the valuation wise, yeah, Meta is considered reasonable. Okay. But we need to watch out on Meta more towards the forecast on increasing spending on AI. But I think their increased spending on AI will pay off, right? And they can still cut stuff to overcome some of the, to reduce some of the fixed expenses, which is what they have done so far. We just need to let the stock price stabilize. I would suggest that if you want to trade Meta, right, you can trade intraday for the meantime. Give it a few days for the elections to stabilize because Meta is not in favor to Trump. Okay. Other than that, nothing to do with a specific policy. Okay. Then the other one is Amazon has more neutral. Okay, Amazon used to be in favor of Democrat. Okay, and he has Jeff Bezos has a company called Washington Post, which used to side Democrat. But this year he changed his stance. Right, he says he doesn't announce favoring any sides. Right, he stay independent, so that could keep him out of trouble. And so far, it's neutral reaction. Right, neutral reaction. Okay, but they have a good post earnings. So I would say if Amazon is stabilized, right, you can still potentially find a new support to enter, right? So I would say that a pullback is good for Amazon, right? A pullback is good for Amazon because fundamentally the forecast earnings is actually good, right? You can see the earnings was good last round. That's why the stock gap up over here, right? So, and it was about to break out yesterday, okay? But now because of the Trump win instead of Kamala, if Kamala win, likely it will go up further. Yeah? But now it's neutral, you can see it's up and down. So you need to let it stabilize and let it pull back more. It actually depends on whether you are an investor, right? We teach our students 4 different trading styles, right? Long-term investor, you wait for the pullback, okay? The election volatility is a good chance for you to enter strong stock. If you're intraday trader, it's the best for this week, right, to let the market stabilize because those stocks that are in favor also have gap up a lot. So you treat it intraday first, and until the when it pulls back to the right level, then only you enter for investment. I would say this week is still not the right time to keep positions overnight yet because there's still FOMC meeting this Friday. There's still the especially for China stock, there's still a stimulus outcome for Friday. Okay. Okay, so let's come back to the question. I see whether any. Okay, TLT gap down with Trump's win. Even if there's still rate cut. Okay, so let's look at TLT is a bit technical. Yeah, TLT is a bond. Okay, bond goes inverse of, this can be a bit technical, so hold on for that. Yeah, because we have our macro insight students here, I guess. Okay, so you can see bond, this is US 10Y is US bond yield, right? When Trump win, we expect the bond yield to go up, right? The borrowing cost will go up, mainly because we expect the Fed to keep interest rate probably higher for longer. Okay, because the Fed may be more cautious in case there's an inflation. So that means the borrowing cost will be higher, right? So the bond yield actually, the bond yield has a high correlation with the Fed funds rate, okay, the federal interest rate. So if the Fed funds rate is high, the bond yield will be high. Or you can say that bond yield is used as an anticipation on the interest rate direction. So it's not a good news where the bond yield shoot up. Okay, the bond yield shoot up after the election here, or when Trump was leading, which shows is an indication that the borrowing cost is going to be increased, right? This is also not good for US debt. Okay? And it's also show that the interest rate may be kept high for a while. And since TLT is the inverse of the, right? TLT is bond fund, bond price. When bond yield go up, bond price come down, right? TLT is the bond price. Okay, so this is opposite. So let's look at the 20-year yield. This is US 20-year yield, bond yield, right? So it goes inverse from the TLT. It's reverse. When the bond yield go up, bond price come down. So you can see it actually already gap down. Okay, whether there's a chance to recover, it depends on this Friday Fed language. If the Fed thinks that says that they will still reduce interest rate gradually based on like 0.25, and depend on what's the next year forecast, then TLT can still recover. But I think this Friday meeting is not enough, because this Friday they don't have any economic projections, right? The Fed meet 8 times a year. So out of the 8 times, 4 times, which is the quarterly meeting, they will do a projection of the year-end interest rate, right? So normally I look at what they project for the year-end interest rate for the end of next year to tell me how much they're going to cut. And that projection is what people use to anticipate how many cuts, and it will affect the bond yield, it will affect the TLT. Okay, yeah. So, but right now, TLT doesn't look good at all. Yeah. All right. So, increased tariff but decrease in taxes. Is that good? Increased tariff, decreased taxes. Oh, that's Donald Trump reason for balancing the budget. One of the things that we need to watch out for is in January, there'll be a debt ceiling limit again. So it was the debt ceiling for US already hit early this year and last year, but Biden managed to negotiate to defer the whole discussion until January, right? So that the government can still run. Otherwise, there's not enough money to pay government servant. So in January, you will start to see all these hoo-ha again, right? In the news, you will see US hitting the debt ceiling and so on. So Donald Trump's reaction to that is, I mean, to solve the debt ceiling is impose tariff, right? When you collect more taxes, even though you reduce the internal tax, you will balance back. And he was hoping that when you cut tax, it improve corporate earnings. From there, you can tax them more, right? Yeah. And overall, if the economy recover, right, then you will still gain back. Last time, he doesn't have a chance to prove this theory. In 2017, he cut tax. The market rallied, like stock market rallied. But did they collect more tax? The problem is not enough time to prove. Like 2017 cut tax, 2018 he imposed tariff. More or less like what he did today. Just now that he do it together. Last time he reduce tax first, the market rally, make everyone happy, then only he imposed tariff, right? He see that, okay, he has some buffer, so he imposed tariff. Now he may do it together. However, after that, there's a pandemic, right? So due to the pandemic, a lot of companies lose money, so the government cannot collect that much of tax. You understand what I mean here? Right, so he cannot prove his theory, and a lot of economists don't think that he is right when it comes to having the tariff will net off the US reduced tax. But improve the economy, very likely it make US more tax-friendly country to be in, and less of the US company will start to park their, branches, headquarters elsewhere to have the tax benefit. Okay, yeah. So let me look at the next one. Trump punished Meta. So okay, that one I already answered. DXY up, gold down. Okay, so gold down. Typically, when dollar is up, right, gold will be down. Okay, but it's not all the time. There are situations that is different, but that's a bit advanced macroeconomics. Huh? This time is a bit different. Okay, not just because of US dollar up, gold is down, but it's also because Trump said he wants to stop the war. One of the reason the gold rally here, part of the reason, not all of the reason, is because of the war. Okay, and also the US debt ceiling. Okay, two of the main things plus other reasons. China, also because of China and Japan, right? They want to keep some gold. But this go down likely because Trump wanted to stop the war, and if he's able to stop the war, there are less uncertainty. But this may come back again when the debt ceiling issues is brought back into the mainstream again. Okay, yeah. But in general, dollar goes up, gold come down. Okay, unless there's a situation where the US economy is healthy and at the same time, people still concerned with the devaluation due to the BRICS and so on, then only these two will rally together. Okay. All right. So let me see. What will happen to Jerome Powell and the future Fed direction with Trump's winning? I would say in general, the Fed will be more cautious, yeah, with their rate cut, yeah, when Donald Trump win compared to Kamala. Okay. XHB did not take off pre-market. Yeah, is there a reason? Yes, the reason is because of Donald Trump wanted to deport the foreign workers in the US, and that affect the home builder industry. I actually have another video on that. You can actually watch it separately. Yeah, I have a video on Trump wanted to deport all the immigrants, and that will cause the home builder industry some trouble because they may not have enough workers. Just like Malaysia, we need the foreign countries worker to work on the construction industry. So if you deport all of them back, the locals may not want to work on that, or you may not be able to find enough local workers, or you have to increase the wages quite significantly. So that will increase the cost of home builders. Okay, so in general, there's a negative impact. However, Trump may, depends on how he implement it, right? That's the tricky part. Let me show you on housing. Both are in favor of housing industry, right? Let's look at it. Kamala actually want to increase housing supply, and he support the first-time buyer by incentive of 25,000, right? And for Trump, he want to open up federal land, and he want to support first-time buyer, right? You can see both also wanted to provide more houses, make houses more affordable. But the part that is different is the immigration policy, right? So strict enforcement, views of illegal immigrant. Whereas for Democrat, they want to legalize the undocumented immigrants. This is the one. Trump want to deport all of the undocumented immigrants. Okay, and that will cause a problem to the construction industry and potentially some of the factories that are using some undocumented workers. Right, so you can on one hand you have the positive here, then you have the negative here. Right, so it's sort of neutralized, but if you really deport them very fast, then it could be negative. Okay, so it all depends on how he implements. So I will say that this area is risky. Even though house price, the home builders industry are undervalued. If you look at the valuation, it's actually pretty low. And if the problem is the US 10-year yield is going up, since the yield go up means the cost of borrowing is going to go up, which is not good for the home builders industry, right? When they want to borrow more loans for the construction. So we want to see this come down. When the bond yield comes down means there's an anticipation the Fed will cut faster. Okay, so now the home builder are very dependent on the Fed interest rate cut directions, right? On top of that is how Donald Trump will implement the deportation of foreign workers. Okay, XHB. Okay, how about aerospace and weapon industry? Okay, let's look at LMT weapon industry. It's actually gap up instead. typically Republican support war more than in the past. Yeah, it could be different right now. Military spending more than Democrat, although both will still spend on military. However, Trump also said that he want to stop the war, right? So this one is actually not really conclusive, but we can see here that LMT also went up. Okay, yeah, he may want to spend on protecting America. On the other hand, he want to stop the war in Ukraine. Whether he can do that, not sure. But if he really take action, if he managed to really stop the war, then the LMT and RGX, right, all these weapon companies will be impacted. Yeah. Yeah. So the other one is energy stocks, right? He is in favor of dirty energy, right? The traditional energy. So typically this will be in favor, but if he stop the war, then it neutralizes the effect. Okay, so let's look at this right now. In general, he support this industry. So energy goes up. I mean oil and gas. Yeah, oil and gas go up. However, if the war stop, then the oil price will drop back. Yeah. So I won't say this is a very strong positioning. Yeah, compared to the finance. Finance is the clearest, and the other one is of course Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin, because he support deregulation, and he did mention that he will support crypto. Okay, right. So this is BTC, USD, the Coinbase is the broker, right? Broker for cryptocurrency will be in favor. In general, brokers are in favor, like IBKR, Interactive Brokers. You can see gap up. Like finance stock or finance related. This Master Visa, like related to finance stock, or the JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, right, which is the inside the XLF. Yeah, those are more clear cut. Right? Those are more clear cut. Whereas the home builder is some plus, some minus. Yeah. Whereas for energy, also some plus, some minus. Okay, what is clearly negative is the clean energy, right? First solar. Okay, first solar should be, like you can see here, it gaps down. Yeah, because Donald Trump is not doesn't support clean energy. Also ICLN, right? This is a ETF for clean energy. You can see is gap down, right? So depend on how far it has moved after market. So it's 185, right? Already quite low. So if it's already at the all-time low, then you don't short it anymore. Okay, it's already somewhere here, all-time low for this year. Can it go further down? Yeah, potentially. Okay, so you need to look at the price action or the lower high to short. Yeah, rather than short right at the bottom and it rebounded. Okay, so let me see. What about NVIDIA? Okay, so NVIDIA in general fundamental is strong, right? But Trump wanted to impose restriction on export, but it's already there so far. I would say that as long as he doesn't add new sanction, right? Because Biden already have the sanction in place. Unless he doesn't add new sanction on top of what Biden already done, then the stock can still move. But people may still be cautious. It may not be so bullish if until Trump clearer on his policy. Okay, until Trump clearer on the policy, then it may have more conviction upside. But in general, I would say that NVIDIA still strong stock. Just based on next year, right? The first half revenue forecast for NVIDIA next year, first half, that's based on their investor presentation. It's already almost the entire year of this year, right? First half NVIDIA revenue forecast 2025, right? Just half year is the same as this whole year, right? So you can see they are going to be making more money. Likely they'll have more stock buyback because their cash flow projection are also very strong. But you have to bear with some uncertainty, depend on when Trump will start to tweet again on new sanctions on China is already there. The other part is Middle East, right? Middle East also want to import, but earlier even Biden wanted to restrict the export to Middle East. That will restrict some of the growth for NVIDIA. But I think long term, there's still good growth for NVIDIA. The pullback could be a good entry. Okay? You just have to bear in mind some interim volatility. So don't go all one shot in. Okay? Yeah. Right. So okay, so let me cover the rest first before I answer more question. Right. So I just want to make sure that I cover the clear one. Right. So the tax one is the one I already covered. So how much more can the stock goes up? I would say usually for tax cut, there is a more prolonged run. Okay. I would say that the cautious we need to have is potentially, just my views, anything can change when there's a new development, right? From the especially the Fed language. From now until end of the year is a typical rally time. And since he came on board and he is going to decrease tax further, the market may continue rally until the year end. Then you need to be cautious because by that time there's a December FOMC, which will do the forecast for the next 1 year policy, right? Next 1 year, how much more interest rate reduction would that be, right? If they are more conservative on that, then it will be bad for the market. And by that time, you also have the what do you call that, the debt ceiling coming up, right? So I would suggest that you may want to take profit by the mid of December, right, before that happens. Okay, yeah, I mean the debt ceiling issues come back again, or you have to take the risk of the FOMC outcome, right? So that's one potential area that you want to watch out for. Housing, I would say, because it's a bit shaky due to the deportation policy. Until he's clearer on that, then this area can jump, even though I know that this area is undervalued. And people are just more cautious. The US supply is less than demand for home. Okay, so there's a lot more demand. I have checked the graph before, right? So I don't have time to cover so many charts. I have it in another video. You can watch another video on home builders. So the longer run sales should still be there as long as Americans are healthy, and especially with the tax cut, Americans, the mid-income group and above, as long as they still have jobs, right? Yeah, the demand for house will still be there. Okay, but even though there's a demand, they cannot supply if they don't have enough workers. Right. So this is the part where you need to wait for some pullback to stronger support. Right. I mean, if you know covered call, that will be the best. Okay? You have some, there's a strong support, the demand is there, but it's a bit shaky based on interest rate policy and Trump deportation policy. So you need some shelter for the downside risk. Yeah. So covered call is one of the better strategy for this. If you don't have any protection, I would suggest that you may not want to go into this unless there's a bigger dip, right? And you're a much more longer term investor. Okay. Immigration, that definitely is not, immigration policy is not good for any companies that depend a lot on labor. So which are the companies that depend a lot on foreign workers? It could be, other than home builders, like warehouse, right? Or the smaller factories. Okay. So Amazon could be affected partially. Yeah. Then traditional energy, I already debriefed that. Easing regulation, also somehow easing regulation may benefit the small cap, although traditionally small cap will go up if Democrat win. Okay, yeah, but I'm looking at this reaction here, which is not as normal. Seems like the small cap are also benefiting from Trump win. Could be better deregulation policy and tax cut benefit all, right? Tax cut benefit big company, small company, medium company. Since Trump is not selective, whereas for Kamala, he has the different brackets of different size of company will be taxed differently. Okay, so that's the overall policy differences, right, and the impact. Okay, so let me cover some of the other questions here. Nuclear energy, right? There are some that is independent, right? No matter who wins. Trump didn't have a clear stance of nuclear energy, but that is more on a mega trend. Nuclear energy, and in general, electricity, right? US need more electricity to power the data center and also the crypto mining center, right? It's really, really short of energy. So energy demand will still be there long term. Will luxury goods sportswear stocks be impacted? Yes, the consumer spending so far has been recovering, but quite a number of the stocks are not doing well. So you have to be pretty selective, right? So Amazon recent earnings shows that the consumer spending are recovering, right? That's why the stock gap up. Okay. However, you have other stocks like Etsy, which is still at the bottom, right? Yeah. Yeah, so this is still downtrend. I'm still watching whether it's recovering. Okay, you have stocks like Estee Lauder, right? Still gap down, right? That means the earnings is not good, right? So consumer spending is not recovering here, right? So you have to be careful. But airline is recovering. Airline is very strong, right? People are traveling, I think, because of lockdown for too long. Yeah, let me hype all my lines first. Airlines are recovering. United Airlines, even Malaysia. Okay, I talked to our accountant. Which industry is doing well? Is it tour industry? Okay, right. So that's one area. Airlines. Just ULL is just one example, right? The jets are doing well, and that also benefit Master, Visa. Okay. In general, Master, Visa also benefit if the interest rate is higher because they, for the delayed payment, right, they can collect more interest. Okay, so someone asking about in general, China stock not in favor. Okay, Futu, you have to watch out because it's also China stock listed in the US. So why is that so, right? This one I'm going to a bit of the macro already, and almost time's up, so I need to speed up. When the US dollar go up, anything outside of US typically are not in favor. Yeah, because the big funds in the US will not want to have they, let's say they make money, let's say US company, because there's a lot of big funds in US, if they invest in China stock, right? If they invest in China stock, then but they suffer currency loss, right? If the US dollar strengthen and renminbi goes down, then they will still lose money from the currency devaluation. So typically when let's say renminbi go down more, then you can see that the China stock listed in US will not do well. Okay, so it's very, very sensitive to US dollar strength, right? The other one is, even if you have other country stock like in Canada, in Europe, or in Brazil, right? I've been looking at a digital bank which I've exited, right? It was doing very well. That digital bank was expanding very, very fast. But because of US dollar strengthening too much, I still cut it off. Yeah. So because there's a very, very high correlation. US dollar up, not good for foreign stocks. Okay. Okay, so that's the standard correlation. So when do you go back to, when is it in favor back when US dollar come down? So if you understand this correlation, that will help a lot, right? That's why understanding macro is very important. So it's already 9 p.m. So if you have further questions, I already covered most of the potential big move. And another one is, let me see the right. Okay, Palantir is because of earnings, not because of this. Okay. Right, so you can see Ethereum already went up, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum, you know, Solana, but China stock will go down. This is before market open. So normally I will sort, when market open, I will sort the percentage move. So in case I miss any, it will still turn up, right? I have a whole long list of my stock watch this year. So 5 minutes in the market open, I will sort them again, and I'll be able to catch what I could have missed. Okay. So in case I miss something, right? So we cannot be too comprehensive. Let me just quickly look at my notes again. In general, when US dollar is up, it's good for certain industry in US that are more on import rather than export. Right? So you look at the US industry, which are the companies that are focusing more on import and export, right? So when they import except for the sanctioned countries. Okay, so let's say if it's not China, because US dollar is strong, right? US dollar is strong, and they consume in the US or US domestic company, right? They don't sell outside, right? One example is, let's say Walmart, right? Walmart main customer is US. They don't sell anything outside. Like Costco is within the US, but you need to evaluate whether any of their imports are being in the tariff list, right? If the imports is not in the tariff list, then these companies will be better off. Okay. Yeah, but you need to watch out on the overall price reaction, right? But the Costco is already very highly valued. You understand? US domestic company will benefit when US dollar is strong. Okay. When US dollar is weak, it benefit US company that has a lot of international exposure. Yeah, international. Because when foreign currency is expensive, I mean, it's high, when you bring back the money, convert to US dollar in your earnings report, then it will show improvement. Make sense? Yeah, so all these are under what we cover under the macroeconomics chapter in our course called Macro Insights. If any one of you are interested, right, you can let us know. So time is almost up, but I want to share one thing, which is we have this coming Friday, in case you still have a lot of questions not answered yet, because I'm still in my office, okay? I'll be going back home, prepare for market open, yeah, because market open 10:30, so I need to stop here. This Friday, in case you still have questions, join us on Friday, and we will also review back, right, the next 2 days action in the market, right, as a result. Normally it takes a few days to stabilize, and also I will decipher the FOMC outcome on Friday. Okay, and I will usually read the outcome, including the press conference. Press conference is more important than what you see in Forex Factory, the one statement on how much they cut. Likely is still 0.25, but the press conference is the one, Q&A is the important one. And also we will be having if you are interested in understanding the macro and the mega trend, and also the outlook for next year, do join us for the Beyond Insights Symposium. We will be having this Beyond Insights Symposium on January 18, 2025 at the Nexus Bangsa South. It's a full day event, right? And this is the agenda. Just to give a high level, we may still adjust some of the agenda here, right? So I'll be covering navigating the global mega trend. It will take me 2 hours to cover the first part, and the second part is what are the actions you can take on the mega trends. And in between, we have inserted Brad Steenbarger, right, who is very strong trading psychologist. He's also a coach for hedge fund trader and prop fund trader. So we'll be inserting him before the break time, not updated in the agenda yet. And the AI and fintech, we have merged into the mega trend. And I'll be covering the top-down approach, right, from macro to industry to companies, approach to investing and trading. Then we have a panel discussion on the global market opportunity and update for 2025. Right, this is the main track, and there's another breakout rooms for those who are interested in options. We also have one more track for China market, yeah, in the main room here. Yeah, we are changing this fintech to China market. Yeah, China Insights, China Market Insights. And the second topic, we have changed this to contrast between US market and Malaysia market, right? Between the two market, what you need to adjust. Right, Malaysia more dividend focused, right? US is more stock buyback focused. So when you trade these two markets, you need to understand the differences. You cannot use the same approach for both. So we are adding that part instead of covering the truth about market timing. Right, so do sign up for this. It is a paid event, not a free event, mainly because it costs us a lot to rent the venue, right? A lot of money. And it includes lunch as well, yeah? And so there's a VIP pass as well. So if you go for the VIP pass, this is the standard one, which includes the buffet lunch, yeah, and also event summary at the end of the day. If you go for the VIP, then there's a priority check-in day, and you get the event replay 30 days. Because some of you attend the main track, you're also interested in second track, right? Then you can get the event replay. There's those of you who are here for last year, you will know that there's a lot of value-added content there. Okay, and you will have a private dome lunch, okay, rather than the generic lunch. All right, so do join us for this if you're interested in the macro as well as industry as well as next year outlook, January 8th. So this event is selling fast. So we are targeting 500 to max 1,000, right? Yeah, so there's a limited space there. Okay, so that's all I want to cover. So apologize if we cannot cover all the questions here. Yeah, otherwise I won't be ready for market open. Okay, so let's see whether I can take some really quick one. TSM, okay. Okay, I just take one. This is a bonus. Okay, I can do a quick one. TSMC typically is not in favor. Okay, so in general, but I always validate with the price action, mainly because Trump wanted TSMC to move the operation to US, which will be more costly for TSMC. It will also increase the price for NVIDIA and AMD and Apple, right? Because if TSMC move the factory to US, it will cost them more, and they have to charge back the customer. And that's the reason why NVIDIA is not that bullish. It's supposed to be much more bullish, so with the lesser margin. So I think overall trend is still up, but it's just not as bullish due to their profit margin trimmed down a bit. Okay, yeah, so that's what I can say for TSM. Palantir will still be good, but watch out for the valuation. PLTR Still a good long-term AI stock, but it's quite stretched. Okay, I would have traded it intraday for the meantime. Let me see. And you Apple, Google. Okay, so I think Apple is could be potentially impacted by the margin as well due to TSMC as one of the main supplier. So I would not, this would not be a conviction stock for me until Apple is still a good long-term stock. It's not a high growth stock anymore, but you need it to be penalized more for you to have a safe entry. Okay, because definitely I am more worried about what China will do, right, to sanction back on US. Right, if they may retaliate, you text me, I text you back on Apple, I text you back on Tesla car in China. It's hard to say. So those will be higher risk if you keep overnight, unless you have a good margin of safety, right? Either you use a covered call or you have a limited risk bull call spread in options. Then you can take a smaller position, right? It will not be a conviction trade until it has a stronger support for me. Yeah, due to Trump win. Right, the relationship of US and China will not be so good. So if you're exposed to American goods that are very highly dependent on China, you need to be cautious. Okay, so that's all I have. So hope it's benefited you so far. And do type on the chat, what you want me to cover for Friday. Anything except stock tip. Today I already give more than what I think. Right? Don't take it as don't just buy and sell based on that. That's just my opinion on the why. I mean, I like to explain to you the rationale behind so you can learn from that. Right. So you need to make sure that you understand how to enter, how to protect your risk before you take any of this, trade any of these stocks. Okay. So any one of you are not our students, type a me. So at least I know who are our non-students here. Yeah, if you are not our students, just type a me. Yeah, anyone? Not our Beyond Insight students. Yeah, at least I know who are the people who are invited here. Right, for the rest, trade well tonight. And I hope this is beneficial. Do give us some feedback in the comment if you find this useful. Right, and click a like. Yeah, click a like and share with more people. Yeah, thank you. I talk quite fast today. You can slow down when you replay, mainly because I want to share as much as I can within the 1 hour. Yeah. All right. See you next time see you on Friday, 8 p.m. And we'll also be posting the link on this sign up as well. Okay. Okay, we'll be posting the link for the sign up for symposium to look at the chat. Yeah, if you're interested to join our symposium. Yeah, it's a content-rich symposium. We also have invited speakers. All right, trade well tonight and hope all of you can make some money tonight. Okay.